Make Your Peace podcast is the Wynonna Earp fan podcast that digs deep into every episode, not only providing comprehensive recaps, but also delving into character relationships and motivations. Hosts Catherine and Laura take their time exploring all of the nooks and crannies of each action-packed episode, puzzling over and speculating on moments you may have missed. If you enjoy a good discussion of your favorite sci-fi show, then this podcast is definitely for you. You can find Make Your Peace podcast on Twitter at 4YE_MYP podcast, where you will find links to their latest episodes. Make Your Peace podcast. Dig a little deeper.
Hey everyone! Welcome to Make Your Peace, a 4YE podcast about Wynonna Earp. I'm Catherine Meushaw.
And I'm Lara Hayes.
And today we'll be discussing Season 3, Episode 11, Daddy Lessons. But a few notes before we get into it. First off, these two episodes, Episode 11 and 12, aired back-to-back. So we will be doing two separate podcasts, if you've noticed the title, and everything. So we're doing two separate podcasts that'll probably post with like a day or so between them. So you will get two podcasts this week. And lots of flailing, I'm sure, between the two of them. So, secondly, as per usual, thank you to the folks at Earp Fiction Addiction podcast for the commercial. It's been really nice to have. And then thank you to everybody for sharing the podcast and listening and commenting and all that stuff. We really appreciate it. So, thank you guys. And with that, what was this episode about?
This episode has everything. Ringlets, angel dads who have banged 2 generations of Earps, phoenix butt tattoos, blood moons, a pragmatic Mercedes in a killer dress, resurrection, abduction, killer Manhattans, unlikely alliances, a pack of panicked hedgehogs, and most importantly, Winsadie's being badass.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
A pack of panicked hedgehogs is really hard to say.
It is. I watched that happen and it just...
I almost lost that one.
Yeah, it's okay though. You did really well. It was really excellent. Yeah. Excellent.
I should show it. I should just throw in a Dan Cortez or something. Really, really go hardcore on the Stefan.
A what?
Dan Cortez, never mind. Don't worry about it.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry. Anyway, title. Let's talk about the title.
The title for this episode comes from the song of the same name by the Queen, the one, the only Beyonce. Also, for some reason, despite the high probability that Waverly's father would make an appearance this season, I did not think of Waves when I read this title. I thought it would be about Wynonna having to right yet another of Ward's wrongs.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Arguably...
It happens so frequently.
Arguably she did.
True. Yeah, that's a good point.
So... teaming up with the Revs at the end there. That could be writing one of Ward's mistakes. Yeah. So
certainly worked out better for her
because she went about it the proper way.
True.
So I'll give it to you. You were not wrong. But where do you want to start?
So I'm going to start right at the tippy top. I think they did a wonderful job with that opening scene of the big blood moon above Purgatory.
Yeah.
You have these stark winter shots. Everything's very barren, and abandoned.
Yeah.
And the red moon just really stands out beautifully against that background. I'll talk more about the blood moon and its significance during our Bible study, but for now, let's just appreciate cinematography.
Yes, it was good. I liked it. I was a little sad that it was indeed the moon and not Julian's appearance, because I think that would have been really cool, like I said last episode, but whatever. It was a really cool thing to have the blood moon like that.
I was not disappointed by that, only because the blood moon is like so central to the apocalypse that I was like, oh, that's cool. I'm glad they did that.
Yeah, it was good. I'm trying to decide if we should just get your Bible study out of the way in the beginning.
Oh man.
You had a lot. You had a lot between Bible study and tarot.
I do. Okay, well we can knock out some Bible study now. I almost wonder if it's fair to like hit people over the head with this.
That's why I'm debating. Because also the black horse in the beginning,
it's another, yeah.
I mean, we get two kind of right in the beginning, so.
Yeah. You just want me to knock it out?
It's really up to you. We can go to something else. I don't know.
Okay, I mean, I can, yeah.
Yeah, go for it then.
Okay. All right, so I lied. We're going to get into the Bible study right now.
Sorry, we don't plan these things, people.
Yes. Right. So, okay, so the blood moon is like a staple symbol of the apocalypse throughout the Bible, right? It appears several times. In Joel 2:31, we have the sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and terrible day of the Lord. Also in the book of Acts 2:20, the sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and notable day of the Lord. So almost identical there. But the visuals really get stepped up in Revelations, which deals at length with the end of days and is the book of the Bible dedicated to frightening young children. So blessed are ye who hear this podcast. Revelations chapter 6, verse 12. And I beheld when he opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood. Also of note is that Wynonna actually calls the blood moon a stupid prophetic moon. So, we know we're supposed to take that as like a sign of the apocalypse. But several cultures have blood moon myths, believing them to be good or bad omens. Primarily, they are bad omens. The Mayans and the Incans believed that the lunar eclipses occurred when a jaguar would eat the moon. The ancient Mesopotamians believed that a lunar eclipse was when the moon was being attacked by 7 demons. And in some Chinese cultures, people would ring bells to prevent a dragon or other wild animals from biting the moon. During the Zhou dynasty, in the Book of Songs, the sight of a red moon engulfed in darkness was believed to foreshadow famine or disease.
All right. Thank you.
And you are welcome. Also, because you mentioned it, also right in that scene with Wynonna, she's sitting on the porch, we see a black horse, kind of cross through the homestead, which was an especially nice touch. Again, there is biblical reference to a black horse as one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, which again you'll find in Revelations. The rider of this horse carries a scale in his hand and is thought to represent judgment and famine. Also in this scene, Wynonna is apologizing to a picture of dolls, saying that he bet on the wrong horse, and at just that moment, a literal dark horse crosses her path, meaning Wynonna the long shot, the dark horse, just might win this fight, it was cool. It played on 2 levels.
Yeah, that's good. Excellent. I knew you would have something about the horse. I just knew it.
I did.
So, thank you so much for the early Bible study.
You're welcome.
Really, really putting those years of church to use.
I'm trying, man. Trying to get something out of it. I was also very, but while we're still on that topic, I was very touched by Wynonna's moment alone on the porch, apologizing to dolls, like, for letting him down, and I just thought it was a nice, relatable, sort of quiet moment. Things really aren't working out for her in the beginning. Things aren't going her way. She's lost her weapon. She doesn't know how she's going to win this, and, she's thinking of Xavier. She's no doubt wishing he was there, and I thought that was an important moment.
Yeah, it was a nice moment, and it was nice that they gave that to her, especially considering we had a lot happen in this episode. So it was nice that the care was taken for that moment.
I think so too.
Sometimes our heroes need a second. Yeah, I mean, this was it's the episode before the finale, so it was gonna be a really big episode. It was gonna be busy. It had a lot of really great moments. I know you mentioned Mercedes in your recap, and man, Mercedes just all of it. All of Mercedes this episode was so good. From the dress she was wearing to her opting to side with Bolshar just because she wanted to be on the winning side to save herself, like it was totally out of self-preservation, to kind of turning around and being like, oh, Wynona's got a shot. I'm with you, girl.
Yeah.
So, and even the little moments, you know, like her stealing Bolshar's potatoes at the table.
Yeah.
So, I fucking love Mercedes, and I'm not cutting that F-bomb.
Leave it. I also love Mercedes, and you know, I mean, she looked gorgeous in this episode, but like what I kept thinking of was, you know, this woman has been through literal hell.
Oh, yeah.
Like she has had her face stolen. She had to deal with her horrible brother just every day of her life until he finally died. She's been, that's how I feel about it. She's been abducted. Her family home became a vampire den. She was separated from her wads. But you know, she's not giving up.
No.
Like, you know, Wynonna calls her a coward for voicing what Wynonna has already begun to suspect is the best play. And that's, you know, and she's playing ball, and she's going along with it. She's gonna ride Bolshar's coattails right through the apocalypse. Mercedes is not chosen. She is just a person trapped under forces she can't fully understand and definitely can't defeat.
Yeah.
But she's still alive, and she's still surviving, and ultimately she does pick her side.
Yeah.
And, you know, she chooses her own fate, and she helps free Wynonna. She gambles on Wynonna, you know, and she even stands up to Bolshar, you know, like refuses him. And she's just one tiny human in a beautiful gown. I think that's so brave. So.
Oh yeah. And I mean, even like, granted, she had a pretty okay deal considering she was surrounded by demons and she had one who like wanted her to be his wife, but like, just in name.
That was an air quote wife, you guys.
Just in title. Sorry. I should mention my air quotes.
I thought that was funny.
Yeah, sorry.
Don't apologize.
Sometimes I forget that nobody else can see me except you. I think we're a long time away from releasing a video of the podcasting.
Yeah. Please.
I don't know, you got the hair porn for it. No, I Mercedes definitely, like, I wasn't mad at her for what she decided to do here. And, because at the end of the day, it's like, she still stood by Wynonna. She was just, I mean, she was scared, like anybody would be. She didn't want to lose her face again. She didn't want to lose her life. So she did what she could to save herself. So you can't really blame her for this. She's been through a lot.
Yeah. And she's just a person, you know, like, yeah.
But no,
I get it.
I do too, man. But it was such a delight to see that moment when Wynonna is being taken into, you know, the dining area, and it's just like immediately Mercedes hones in on that dress that she's wearing. So it was great. She was so great.
Yeah.
She's such a fun character.
She is. She's a blast.
Because speaking of that dinner scene a little bit, we had some fabulous moments there. You know, with Wynonna offering to be Bolshar's second lieutenant or first lieutenant was such a great scene. I really like that scene because she, like Mercedes, doing everything that she can, except in this, it's doing everything that she can to keep her family safe. And, you know, she's been very upfront from the beginning. Her family is what's most important to her. Keeping her family safe is priority number one. And, you know, I think it was like a legit thing, you know, her telling Bolshar, like, hey, pick me, you know, I'm a worthy opponent. And, you know, you get so mad at Bolshar when he's like, you're not a hero, you're not a warrior. And it's like, let me at him. Because she totally is. So I did like that, though, with her offering herself up. And then finding out that maybe she's got a key to defeating him.
Yeah, I think I really liked the moment, too. I thought the Ward parallels in this episode were something else, kind of, you know, because here, you know, we see her in this scene. She is, she's making a deal, you know, she's literally on her knees begging. She only cares about her family. That's what Ward said, you know, like he just wanted to save his family. So we see her making a deal with the devil just like he did, you know. And early in the episode, you know, we have another kind of heartbreaking hint of what it was like to grow up in the shadow of Ward Earp. Yeah, like not only does Wynonna react violently to the thought of losing Waverly, to the possibility that Waverly will disappear from her life and make this sacrifice for humanity, but when she throws Waverly in the boot of her truck, she says, sorry, Waverly, but like Daddy used to say, this hurts you more than it hurts me. Yeah. And it was just like, to start on that note, you know what I mean? Like, because that happens like very early on, to sort of see that. Yeah. And it stood out, you know, pretty immediately to me. I think anybody with less than stellar parents probably honed right in on that. And yeah, so to see her do that, to see her, you know, like punch Waverly that way and then lock her up and then say that about Ward, you're like, God, you know, how many similarities do you have to your father, you know, like, and then later in the episode, you know, she makes essentially, or tries to make the same deal that he made. Ultimately, she makes a new deal, right? And her deal works out. But it was just it was strange to see those two things in one episode. Those like echoes of Ward.
Yeah, and even like even kind of using that to show how much better she is than him too. Even like. But also, I didn't even consider, like, we know that Ward's abusive. I didn't really think about that when she punches out Waverly, just because I was so wrapped up in who has siblings and doesn't recognize that moment when you hurt a sibling and then it's the, oh, shit. Who doesn't recognize that moment?
You know, that's all it was to me initially, until she said that. Yeah. That thing when she locked her up, when she made that Ward comment when she locked her up, I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, that was it was just such a knee-jerk react, because they're not kids. Right? She's an adult. Like, they aren't children. So that sort of, you know, like, knee-jerk, like, propensity for violence, you know, like, I was like, oh, God, like, you hit your grown sister, you know, like, I don't hit my grown brother. I hit my brother when we were kids, but like I don't hit him now. Could have something to do with the fact that he's bigger and stronger than me.
Yeah, are you not supposed to hit your siblings anymore once they're grown up?
Well, I might give him a whack every now and then, but then he does it back to me, and like our joke is like, oh my God, I'm gonna have a bruise, because I usually do. Gotcha. But I bruise really easily. That's the joke.
I mean, just checking. I mean, because I did smack my little brother a little bit, and by little I mean he's a year younger, and a foot taller than I am. So,
Mm-hmm.
but that was totally warranted because he did something stupid at work. So I was smacking him and telling him to be careful. So that felt warranted. Just making sure.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't hit people. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah. You certainly don't knock them unconscious and
No.
lock them away.
I don't think I've ever done that, so
Yeah.
I can safely say I've never
Yeah.
knocked a sibling unconscious. I may have done some shit, but I don't think I've ever done that.
I'm thinking about it. I don't think I have. I'll ask him after. I don't think so, though.
It's fine. It's fine. He's fine. But yeah, no, I really didn't consider that in the context of like of how similar to Ward she is. I really didn't think about the punch like that.
And again, if she hadn't said that
Yeah.
later, if she hadn't brought Ward into it, I wouldn't have
Right.
brought Ward into it, but she did. So I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then later, we have that bargain, and I thought that was,
Oh yeah. I mean,
yeah.
the bargain totally had me thinking about Ward, and
Mm-hmm.
it might have been a note I made for the problem with the finale and this episode airing back to back is I think I lost some of my notes. I think some of the notes that I should have had today are in somewhere else. Because I thought I had a note about that, about oh, here it is. Yeah, interesting that both Wynonna and Ward got the idea to team up with the Revenants, but for totally different reasons and vastly different outcomes. It's in my note was somewhere else. Should I cut that though? Because we don't know what the outcome of it was.
Yeah, but everybody's seen it at this point,
Yeah.
like, it's cool. Yeah, like, they aired together,
Yeah.
and
Like,
we're
spoiler.
not doing a spoiler-free thing.
Well, we are, but not I think we're okay. Okay, we're fine.
Yeah. I think there will be a little bleed over, but that's probably fine.
Yeah, also sometimes, despite watching these episodes so many times, I watched episode 11 4 times, but that doesn't mean I necessarily remember what isn't in episode, what is that one and not the next one, so.
Mm-hmm.
Here's your warning now, however many minutes into the podcast it is, we're going to try to do spoiler free, but just in case, oops. Special circumstances, you guys. But yeah, no, I mean, I liked a lot of Wynonna's stuff with the Revenants, especially her appealing to Jarvis pretty early on. I kind of like their moments. I want to hear more of his story.
Me too.
I mean, I don't love evil gay characters, but he seems alright.
He's totally best revenant of the episode in my book. His story of lost love and those amazing ringlet skills.
Mm-hmm.
But seriously though, I love that the Revs didn't just abduct Wynonna. They dolled her up too. I got such a kick out of the fealty makeover.
Yeah. It was. I hope they let her dress herself. Because then that enters a really, really unfortunate thing.
I don't know.
I know. I'm trying not to think about it. Yeah, I'm trying not to think about that part of it. But no, Jarvis definitely, I think, wins Rev of the episode. And I do like how, you could tell she kind of won him over a little bit in the beginning, and then kind of as we got on, he let her loose, and then kind of, still backed her, and the Chinese Rev, whose name I don't know how to pronounce, he seemed to be on board quickly, so that helped her a lot in order to kind of deliver her Buffy Summers-worthy speech to the Revenants.
Mm-hmm.
I had to, get in that first reference early enough.
I like it.
I've got a few more up my sleeve.
Yeah. It was Buffy-esque.
It was. Also, when she is in the cell, ripping the dress to, make it, fit for what she wanted to do and everything like that. I totally had Buffy season 6 vibes when Buffy has to go ask for a loan and like she rips her skirt because she gets
With
just
the
like
letter on
yeah.
it.
Also, that moment gave me some Xena blue dress vibes from episode 2 when she has to rip the dress to fight. So, badass ladies all around.
Mm-hmm. And what have we learned? Dresses aren't functional pieces of clothing.
Unless they're super flowy.
Okay, yeah, never mind. I just remembered that I love Mercedes dress. Never mind.
For fighting, there's a particular kind of dress that works. Otherwise, just wear pants. That's the lesson here. Or a skirt. Skirts seem to work out well. Look at Xena. Or Supergirl. I deviated once
Good point.
again. I'm not going to apologize. Nope. Anyway, back to the show. I'm trying to think of other moments for that particular, like, abattoir scene and stuff like that I like.
I mean, I think Wynonna might have, like, just given us the greatest clap back for any woman anywhere ever being told to smile.
That was pretty
Ever.
great. I'm surprised you didn't say
That
that
was
for
pretty
your
good.
quotes, though.
I didn't say the quote.
That's true. That's true.
Just saying.
That's true. It was pretty good. It was pretty good. I also, kind of getting out of the abattoir a little bit, but when they first take her, I like it that, like, you know, not only is Wynonna looting, because no matter what, Wynonna is still gonna Wynonna.
She got that B&E kit.
Yeah, I mean, I love that amongst all of the useful things, like, you've got, like, hockey sticks and, like, other weapons and stuff like that. There is a huge bottle of whiskey in the back of her truck. And, it just made me laugh, because I think I noticed it on, like, my second watch? Second or third. I don't remember how many it took me to notice that, but yeah, she's got a huge...
Did she steal a hockey stick?
and maybe there was a hockey stick in there? I don't know.
Oh, okay, because you just said hockey stick, and I was just thinking of Casey Jones from the Ninja Turtles. I was like, that's amazing.
Nerd.
I know.
There might not have been a hockey stick. I don't know. There were stick things in there, like, I don't know, pulley things, or maybe, I don't know.
She's Canadian. It's a safe bet. I can say that. I'm from Michigan. And we love our hockey.
I was going to say, that's not Canada. Usually when people say I can say that, it's because, you know, it's a group they belong to.
No, it's because I understand their love of hockey.
No, I know. It was just really funny. I'm just going to give you a hard time.
Also, go Red Wings.
Why are you starting shit? Why are you going to start shit on this podcast? Oh, sorry. Well, I'm still on Wynonna and the Revenants. That shot of Wynonna, Mercedes, and the Revenants walking down the street at the end is such a great shot. I loved it so much.
Yeah, that is a really good one.
It was so great, and I knew that I had to use it for my recap, too. I used it for the cover photo. I could not. I saw it and was like, oh my god, I've got to. Because sometimes I have to rely on whatever photos the sci-fi website has available. So, thankfully, I had that one. But yeah, I love that so much. It was such a great scene.
Me too.
Back to the deal Wynonna was making with Bolshar, because I forgot I had this note, because apparently I don't read my notes thoroughly. I was not expecting Wynonna to be the one to try to make a deal with Bolshar. You know, because
Who'd you think was going to?
Well, I mean, because we talked about it before that, like, Doc would have been likely to make a deal. Like, we talked about it several episodes ago.
We did, yeah.
So, like, kind of, I guess, at the beginning of the season, if you had asked me who I thought would be making it or attempting to make a deal with him, I would not have said Wynonna. And this is, like, she already kind of gave him Peacemaker to save her family, basically, under the promise that her family would be safe a couple episodes ago. And then we have it happen again, where she offers herself as his right-hand person and, you know, fails, but still she attempts to. So I was not expecting it to come up again. But she's desperate. So
yeah.
It's not it's not unexpected, completely, I guess, at this point, but at the same time, it was still like, or like, it's understandable. Sorry. That's my brain. I don't know what's wrong with me today. I'm like, my brain is fried.
You're good.
I didn't do anything.
I think it's kind of the, like, the glory effect, it's like, you remember, like, how knocked off their game, like Buffy and the Scoobies were, like, when they found out they were up against a literal god.
Yeah.
And I think Wynonna also got really tripped up by the fact that Bolshar's basically the devil, right? Like, he is the devil. So I get it, like, at that point. And also, also she doesn't have her weapon, so she can't fight him with means that are familiar to her, and because, or by nature of what he is, she thinks there's really no, or at least in that moment, there's what does she do if there's no defense to mount? What does she do? What does she have? Like, yeah.
And I mean, it's kind of, and I feel like I'll be saying this a lot since this is like the second time this episode, and I feel like I know I'm going to end up having a lengthy conversation in our finale episode. It's understandable. It may have been, like, to some people, I guess, a little disappointing to see Wynonna, like, try to do that, because at that point, I don't necessarily, she really thought she had nothing left to try to fight him with. Like, it's not like that's how she found out, how bonded they really are. But at that point, I think it was like legitimately, this is my last ditch effort. It's not like it was some ploy to get close to him and take him down. It was legitimate. And, I think it's easy to get, like, mad at your heroes for doing something like that. But it's like, no, like, it's completely understandable. Like, not mad at her at all for doing this. She did what she thought was the right thing. So,
yeah.
I just know sometimes it's, like, really easy to be like, how dare she? And it's like, all right, cool.
I did not have those feelings.
Yeah, no, I didn't either. Like I said, I was like, okay, cool. Like, this is happening.
My feelings were more like, where does he get off telling her no? Like,
yeah, and where does she
be a great lieutenant?
Yeah, and, like, saying that she's not a warrior. That's where my rage was. It's like, how dare you, sir?
Yeah. You take that back. Not today, Satan.
Exactly. I think that was my last, like, random thought before I find something else random in my notes. I guess we should also talk about, like, another big thing in the episode, kind of, about Charlie / Julian.
Go.
Like, maybe we should talk about that.
Probably.
But I don't know. I don't want to. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, we gotta, right? Like.
Yeah, I know. So neither of us thought that Charlie was Julian.
Nope.
So negative points to us.
Can't win them all.
No, you cannot. So yeah, Charlie is Julian, and not gonna lie, I was still, like, not entirely impressed this episode with when we found that out. I was like, meh. And my first thought, like, when we found out, like, Doc was, like, going a little crazy after drinking him and stuff like that, and after, like, finding out that he didn't know who he was, I thought that maybe he was, like, a half angel, like Waverly, and then it's, like, after the first flashback and really stopping to think about it, I think that was whatever commercial break we got after that when you asked me, is Charlie Julian? And I'm like, yeah, I'm thinking so. Whatever commercial break that was. But yeah, I was not necessarily expecting that at all.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't see that coming. What I did like was, you remember that moment Waverly is talking to Charlie about this hunger she feels, like this desperate need to help.
Yeah.
And I can't help but feel like that's a little bit of that, like, heavenly purpose or divine
Mm-hmm.
task that she has inherited. In Charlie's flashback to, like, when he became a firefighter, he says he just wants to help people. That's all he knows for sure,
Mm-hmm.
is that, like, he's got to help people. So I did think that was neat.
Yeah, I did too. I think popping wings on somebody doesn't necessarily make him a stunningly more interesting individual, so I don't know. I just still was like kind of meh about him at this episode. I'm terrible, but I'm not sorry about it. But I guess maybe this explains some of my issue with Charlie. You know, he was kind of like too good and too perfect, and that was because he was a literal angel.
Yeah.
So.
I like that we both just assumed that he was shady AF, too. Like, we were both just like, no, like, no, don't trust you. Like, all this stuff, like, that was fun.
Yeah. No, this guy is too good. There has to be something shady here. It's like, it's too much. And nope, just the opposite. Just an angel. It's fine.
Also, something that we had, like, speculated about that was disproved. Like, Doc was not possessed by Maeve, as, you know, I think you and I discussed, and many people were speculating about that on Twitter. Instead, it seems he was just crazy hopped up on angel blood, which appears to be angel dust for vampires.
Wow. Yeah, it kind of reminded me a little bit of in like True Blood, how they all kind of went after Fae blood.
Yes, I think I have that too. I'll try to remember to erase it.
Yeah, I mean, and it is kind of, we know what that smile was. It was Doc getting that taste of angel blood, and I think that makes it worse. You know, we were all prepared for, yeah, it was possessed, Doc. I mean,
it does make it worse. Deal with it, fangirls. It's bad. It's bad. It's not good. He did all of those things.
Yeah, Doc had a rough episode. I mean...
Yeah, it was a really bad Doc episode. I love him, but wow.
I know. You know, and it is rough when even your maker is like, dude, this ain't right. Like,
yeah, like,
something's not right.
You came out wrong. Yeah, like, whoa.
Yeah, like, you ate someone you weren't supposed to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes it so much worse though, because that look was him getting a taste of angel blood, and then of course he kills this couple that wandered into his bar to look for their dog and loot.
Your face.
Like, well, I mean, like, really? How do they think that the bar door can't have been open? So does their dog know how to open doors? Like, that was flimsy. I'm sorry. They deserve to get eaten.
I think they probably just wanted to rob a bar.
Yeah,
no, just looking for our dog, yeah.
I mean, yeah, she had a leash, so they probably do have a dog somewhere. I hope that dog didn't fall victim to Doc. I'm sure not. I'm sure the dog is fine. Maybe he found a nice home. Or she, sorry. It was a girl dog. Maybe she found a nice home. Maybe she went to chill with the hedgehogs. We did find out that the wildlife left, so maybe she just bolted on out of the triangle like all the wildlife did.
Yeah.
Oh God, how many pets do you think ran away?
I hope they were spayed or neutered.
Oh my God. Not what I was expecting you to say.
Thank you. I'm really thrilled we got Kate back in this episode, though. I was kind of worried that, like, she would just disappear.
Yes.
But that is not the case. Thankfully, she's back. And it was cool to bring her back in, too, to kind of help us all to understand how Doc's vampirism has sort of leveled up, right? Mm-hmm. So she was a really nice way to sort of explain these things to the audience. He's learned to glamour, as showcased by Tabitha and Reed, the unfortunate owners of the lost dog.
Looters.
And he does, and I realize that, you know, there will be probably, you know, he's supposed to be a heroic figure, right? So there's going to be some serious backpedaling on the stuff that he's pulled. But, you know, he seems to be completely enslaved to his thirst. Which is something that is very common in vampire lore, especially among fledgling vampires, which Doc is. He's very newly made.
Yeah.
So just, I mean, under normal circumstances, right, air quotes, a fledgling vampire would already be out of control of their thirst. So if you were to give that new a vampire blood that is basically heroin to them, you know, they're going to be pretty out of control. But also cool was that, you know, Kate isn't only used to sort of, you know, explain him. Like, we also kind of get a little more about vampirism's limitations through her, because she can't heal under the blood moon. So a gunshot significantly weakens her and could have proved fatal if Nicole hadn't come and gotten her and stopped the bleeding. So that was kind of cool. I also appreciate it when, like when people do, people have a take on vampires that are not, that have their vulnerabilities, and these vampires they have plenty of them, you know, the holy relics and, you know, the inability to heal, so I assume catastrophic blood loss, stuff like that. So that's neat.
Yeah, I did like getting the information that they recharge in the dark. I appreciated that, because we have talked about how we don't know what vampire mythology they're using or how they're twisting it. So I did really appreciate that. And yeah, I liked seeing Kate too. I really appreciated that they had brought her back. I mean, she was in the promo, so it was like, yeah, okay, she was coming back. But yeah, I liked her, and I thought that was kind of like, I liked her scenes with Nicole, and I liked her obsessively reading the cards to look for a different outcome. Just, you know, giving her something to do.
I liked it too.
Death. I'm sure you did, and I'm sure you have a lot to talk about with all of those
so much.
Those readings.
Those were so many. It was too many cards. It was so many. You know, I do want to talk about it, but before we move totally away from the greenhouse and the showdown and all of that stuff.
Oh yeah, we just skipped right over that just to talk about.
Yeah, Kate. It was a big I'm happy to do that, but you know, Charlie, like, just before he realizes he's Julian, you know, when he's hiding Waverly under that bench and everything, and Waverly touches his hand with the ring, and he has that flashback of Michelle. He keeps saying, "No, it's too much. I'm not doing that." Yeah. Which I took him to be him resisting his purpose. He doesn't want to go back to the garden, right? Which is the only reason he exists. Mm-hmm. He doesn't want to be locked in there for all eternity. Right. And I think you have to appreciate, or at least I did, what those last moments as like the Charlie persona must have been like. Mm-hmm. Like, he had autonomy as Charlie. Yeah. He had choice, and as he slowly kind of started to realize who and what he was and what his destiny like must be, you know, he fought it. Charlie, mortal fireman, fought against that, and that did resonate with me.
Yeah, it was a really good moment that he had, and yeah, I mean, it was such, like I said, he's kind of, I mean, there are other characters I like more than him. But, I mean, it was still, like, a really important moment. It was still a really important moment because, I mean, we often... Yeah, I mean, it was a good moment, and it does kind of make you feel for him, especially on, like, that rewatch where it's like, you know what's about to happen, and everything, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, and that moment that Waverly has, like, just trying to comfort him and stuff like that was nice, too.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. I think that moment for me had more of an impact than, him sort of revealing himself as an angel. Because by that point I did know, so I guess the more, that moment had the emotional hit for me.
Yeah.
Like him sort of struggling to keep hold of this, this conduit that he's built, this farce.
Yeah. He did just kind of, it was like one thing after another. It was like, I know this greenhouse, I know this ring, these flowers aren't right, something's not right here, and then it's like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that, and they had a lot of, Waverly and, Charlie / Julian had a lot of really great moments. Like, Waverly asking him about firefighting and which dog is the cutest to distract him from, like, him not knowing about, like, anything about his past and, like, him and Wynonna and stuff like that. So I thought that was really funny. And then when he's, like, when they're getting to his car and she's, like, trying to get him to tie her up so that she doesn't go anywhere. And he's just like, I don't want to tie you up. And she's just like, her dramatically saying, and I don't want to have to sacrifice myself to save humanity. Just, I mean, those moments just kind of, I did appreciate those. Mostly because of the way Waverly, like, hella dramatically says that. It's like, oh my gosh. Waverly, I love you. But
about her, like, resurrection of Julian, too, I do believe that had more to do with the ring's connection to Julian and Julian's angelhood than it did with Waverly actually being able to raise the dead. I don't know that she can't do that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know the limits of her power or anything, anything like that. I don't mean to suggest otherwise, but I did take that to be, because I've seen a lot of stuff about that, but I did take it to be the ring, sort of waking him back up, being in proximity to him. And we saw several times in the episode the way that it reminds him who he is and stuff like that. So I do think it was the ring.
Definitely, I would say so.
I wonder whether or not Julian's blood is, like, slowly or partially ridding Doc of his vampirism. And this is why, right? Like, we see him start coughing in the basement of Shorty's with Kate. And it's a familiar cough.
Yeah.
And when he shoots the fire chief and subsequently wounds Kate, and for the record, I have not forgiven him for that or the terrible way that he treated her this entire episode.
Oh, no.
But anyway, yeah.
Totally
He's
on a
in the
shit
doghouse
list.
with me.
Yeah.
He tells her later that, he tells her he has to find Julian. He needs the blood.
Yeah.
Tells her she'll be all right, but if he doesn't have the blood, he won't be. And I might be off base with this cure thing, but, like, I don't think that the effects of Julian's blood are over and done with. I think we may hear more about that maybe in season 4. And I have more to say about it in our next podcast.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's a really valid theory that it could have in some way started to cure him in some way, shape, or form. So it should be interesting to see what that does going forward. But no, I'm on board with that because we did get that familiar cough from him. But yeah, Doc, the way he treated Kate this episode, not okay. Not okay at all.
Not okay.
Yeah. He's...
Nope.
I don't care what BS excuse he has. That wasn't okay. He got her shot. He left her behind. He, like, treated her like crap. He couldn't even get a nice area for him and Kate and, you know, the couple that he ate, you know, like, the basement of the bar. Dude, he has a bedroom upstairs. Come on, man. Like,
But it's also like, now that Doc has burned every conceivable bridge and crossed I don't know how many lines, and like, can I finally have like Mercedes, please? Like, Mercedes is so much better for Wynonna than Doc is. Like, come on.
I mean,
She was even a better ally and friend in this episode. Like, what more could you possibly need?
I mean, I don't know how much better Wynonna is for Mercedes, but yeah, I definitely.
She is a bad influence sometimes.
Not even a bad influence. I mean, she's just, people get hurt or killed around Wynonna, so.
It's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
I don't know that Mercedes is safe, but yeah, I'd say she's definitely a better pair for Wynonna. So, I don't know. It seems like Mercedes, I mean, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Season 4.
Yeah, we'll see. And there's I hope there's some real work kind of put into Doc's redemption, which I'm sure we'll get, you know, like next season. But I do want to see some serious, like, groundwork laid for that. I think Waverly said it best in this episode. We loved the man you were, Doc.
Oh, that moment was such a nice moment, though. I mean, still very mad at Doc, but that was such a nice moment with her just kind of crying on him and wiping that tear and kissing his cheek and everything. So, yeah. Because, I mean, it's true. Totally true. We all love the man he was. Now he's a giant douchebag.
Yeah, he's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's not great. Vampirism does not suit him.
Doesn't look good on him, no.
No. It looks great on Kate, though.
It's fantastic on her.
A lot of things.
She wears the hell out of it.
She does. She does. Oh, we did find out that Waverly crossing the boundary in the last season's finale did do something.
Yep.
It allowed Julian to enter the triangle because it was basically a beacon for him.
Yeah.
So, that's good to know.
Yeah. Yeah, I had basically the same line here about Waverly walking Alice over the line to give her to Gus. I read the line the exact same way. That's how Julian found his way back, was when she did that.
Oh, yeah. Because, I mean, he says, you know, a light shone in the darkness. It was my daughter crosseth over, so. Yeah, his whole little thing there just annoyed me, but that's not neither here nor there. Apparently I can only like one or two, like, white dudes on the show.
I guess, yeah, you've got nothing but contempt for this angel.
I know, it's the worst. And, like, just wait until I get talking about Bobo in our next episode. I mean, it's just really gonna look bad. Warning everybody now, it's not gonna be a great look for me. But no, I mean, well, Doc's on my shit list too. Right now, it's only Robin who isn't, for as far as the white dudes on the show go.
Robin. You know, actually, I think we got, like, a nice, like, bit of continuity for Robin at the start of the episode. I thought it was adorable that he was, like, enjoying his emergency deputy status and all that. But I also like that they bothered to talk about his dad.
Yeah.
Like, Robin's sole reason for hanging out in Purgatory before he met the Scooby Gang, right? It was just a nice way to honor Robin's character by saying, hey, how's your dad? Where's your dad? You know, like, I thought that was cool.
Agreed. I also just kind of really adore his optimism.
It's so cute.
I know. And his faith in Jeremy.
Yeah.
So I like that. And I like how excited he was about, like, helping out and stuff like that in the beginning, and even, you know, rescuing some hedgehogs, much to their dismay.
Didn't want to be rescued.
No. And I kind of, the scene with Jeremy, Robin, and Bobo at the end, I really like, because once again, I mean, we've got Robin's optimism and just, you know, belief in the good in people. I think, is like what we're really looking at with, him. He's got this like interesting thing with Bobo. We saw it last episode. We see it this episode with, him trying to do the crossword, and Bobo's like, you always, want it to be music and stuff like that, and calling him, the last idealist. And then even Jeremy, who, reasonably is not the most pessimistic person in the group, kind of telling Robin it's like he's not willing to give Bobo any more chances. Tried to kill him and his friends one too many times.
Yeah, even Jeremy has his limits.
Yeah, go figure. But no, I like those moments because it is kind of curious Robin's reaction to Bobo, I think. So,
yeah.
I like that at the end. Also, while I'm kind of on the Bobo train, I really like that last scene with Bolshar and Bobo. There's a really good, we got it. I really enjoy how they're using Bobo's terrarium.
Yeah.
And, like, last episode we got the shot of Wynonna's face, like, reflecting on Bobo's. And in this episode, we got that really great shot with Bolshar's suit reflecting right onto Bobo when Bolshar is offering him a job. And I thought that, it was such a great shot. So I really enjoy how they have been utilizing this big plastic, wall.
Cage, yeah.
So yeah. I like that, and I wanted to mention that while I was talking about Bobo. Oh, also, sorry, again, I need to organize my notes better. Note for next season. Jesus. Who bought that was a forest fire? I want to know, like, while Nicole and Robin were evacuating, who bought that it was a forest fire? Because, the thing about forest fires? You can see those.
That's true.
I mean, as far as, like, Sunnydale-esque excuses go, that one was not great.
No. Sunnydale was always PCP, right?
Gangs on PCP, yeah.
Gangs on PCP, yeah.
That's why their faces were messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Or, like, there was one episode where there were the bad eggs. It was, like, because everybody, like, the randos came into the school. It's like they said it was a gas leak.
Yep.
So, yeah. I mean, I don't know what a better thing would have been here. Obviously, it didn't take much for these people to leave. Like,
I don't remember who says it either. Like, I don't remember if it was Nicole or Robin, but it's in that scene, and one of them is, like, acknowledging that people know.
Yeah.
And I didn't write that down or anything, but, like, I thought that was cool, too. Like, these people know something is up, so you're telling them it's a forest fire, and all they know is that you're saying evacuate, and they're like, good, I could feel something.
They're like,
you know what I mean? And I always expected it of Sunnydale residents, too.
Yeah.
That they were always just a little more in tune with the weird, and so they were just like, fine, whatever you give me that I don't have to think about it, fine.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, we saw that in the series finale of Buffy. They all just booked it. Well, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
It was not the series finale. It was 3 episodes prior. It was touched, but again, not the point. Before somebody corrects me, I know it wasn't the actual series finale. It was touched, which is like 3 episodes before. It's episode 19, so... And yes, I did that without looking it up. Line up, ladies. Yes, it was Nicole who said anyone with a brain in their head wants to run away from purgatory, not towards it. And then Robin has that line about the wildlife booking it as well. So. Oh, sorry, episode 20 is touched. Empty Places in 19. I still got the episode number correct. I just had it wrong, the title. That time I looked it up. I knew which number it was where everybody booked it. Anyway, not the point. What is the point is people booked it, Robin helped, and Nicole is delightful in this episode. Because
she is.
We haven't talked about Nicole yet.
Yeah.
You know me and my I have questions section. So Nicole knows that Charlie died via a vampire bite. She sees him walking around. and she's stunned to see him. But she doesn't immediately go to vampire, which is where my mind would go if I saw someone who was bitten by a vampire and seemed to be dead just walking around later. So I have questions about that.
That's a good point. Her reaction probably should have been, oh no, a vampire. Yeah. I didn't think about it.
Yeah.
I just thought it was funny.
Oh, it was a good scene. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
and honestly, full disclosure, that was also a friend of mine pointing it out too. But also, like, I mean, I noticed it, like, on my second, but it was also, she had kind of, like, pointed out, and then I had to, like, sit, and I was like, gosh, gotta put it in my notes. But, yeah. I mean, my first thought was, but she and Wynonna had some really good scenes this episode, too.
Yeah.
Like, with, just the beginning with Wynonna driving up in the truck and kind of, like, not explaining anything, because that's Wynonna. I do not love that, once again, we seem to have a problem with communication with Waverly and Nicole.
Yeah.
Because Waverly did not tell Nicole about Kevin. And she had time to tell her about Kevin. So, not great. I don't love that.
I don't love it either. I also kind of get where Waverly's coming from on that one, because, like, it's not great news, right?
Right.
It's, hey, I might have to go sacrifice myself for humanity, because this chick Kevin told me that that's probably what's up, right? Like, that's a hard sell.
Yeah.
And it went so poorly with Wynonna.
Yeah.
You know, like, Wynonna was like, promise me you won't. Like, you can't do it. I can't take it. Like, you know, crying. It was this heartbreaking scene. But, so I kind of get, like, why Waverly, like, might not tell her. Because it's like, duh, Nicole's going to be like, don't do it. You know what I mean? Like, what? Like, there's no way Nicole could have any other reaction other than, do not do this. Like, she even aids and abets the abduction later.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And so I think, like, I get it. It is a problem with communication. They always have a problem with communication. I don't love it either. But also in this instance, I felt for Waverly a little bit. Because I was like, well, Nicole's going to be one more person who loves her, crying and telling her not to do this. This thing that she feels she has to do. You know, like, we saw her just hanging out at the steps. Just to be close to them. It's weird. It's a draw. There's this thing, I feel like. Like, she feels drawn to it. So, I don't know. But you're still right. There's still a communication problem.
I mean, you have a point, too. It's... her not telling her is reasonable, but I'm kind of tired of explaining away why they're not telling each other things with her not telling her is reasonable. Because I feel like it's not the first time we have said that. And it gets old. Like...
yeah, you might have a point.
Yeah, I mean, so, to your point, yeah, it's a hard conversation to have. But on the other end of it, she should have told her.
To your point, yeah, she should have.
So, yeah, I mean, it kind of sucks that it seems that Waverly and Nicole are both more inclined to tell Wynonna stuff that that they should be telling each other. Or vice versa, like Wynonna, because Wynonna and Nicole had the conversation about Waverly that Waverly and Nicole should have had. So, I don't know. I love them dearly, but it's kind of one of those things that's, like, routinely frustrating. I just want some solid communication.
Communication's sexy.
It really is.
It is.
And it's just like, yeah, Nicole's not gonna, but Nicole is also like, yeah, she's hella protective, so her and Wynonna teaming up together, likely. I don't think Waverly would have made it to the stairs had Nicole known beforehand. Like, those stairs called to Waverly, yeah, but she would not have been answering that call if Nicole had known sooner. And, that's totally why Waverly did it. You know, like Wynonna, Nicole would find a way to sacrifice herself or do something to prevent Waverly from doing it. Because
something.
Loves her.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was just like, it led to that really nice moment with Wynonna and Nicole With Nicole being like, I'm the sheriff, and also I can't take her anywhere because we've been turning her around like 2 seconds later because look at her face.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot say no.
And who doesn't feel her on that one?
I know.
Yeah. We got an interesting question on Twitter about how likely we thought it was, like, to stay on Nicole for a little bit, how likely we thought it was that the Madonna line from Maeve about Nicole was meant to hint at Nicole having some sort of mystical, holy connection, something, right? And I think it's entirely possible that Nicole could be revealed as having some unique connection to an Adam or Eve type figure, or better yet, Lilith, if we want to get really crazy. But early in this episode, when Nicole and Waverly are standing over Charlie's corpse, Nicole touches Waverly's arm, and we see Waverly have a vision of the tower steps.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is because Waverly is in close proximity to her soon-to-be-revealed and resurrected daddy, or if it's because Nicole also has a connection to the garden in some way, shape, or form, which is what that Twitter ask was hinting at. I think we're going to have to wait to get more on that, but I did think it was a really neat observation.
Yeah, I think so too. I know I had to pull up the Twitter mentions just so I knew. Okay, I got it. Okay.
Will you say that Twitter handle? Because I thought it was a really good quote. I didn't write the name down and I should have. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So it's at PPPSOBE.
Cool.
They were the ones who asked about the red hair.
Mm-hmm.
So
thank you for your question.
Yeah, it was a pretty solid one. And I think we had another good one, but I think that's a finale question. It was a finale question.
Yeah, there is another one, but we gotta save that.
Yeah, I know. This is hard, guys. This is so hard because we're recording in day after tomorrow for our finale podcast, and it's so hard to keep track of this stuff.
It is.
Yeah, send some love to any podcasters you know, because it's hard sometimes. I know I had another Nicole thought. I don't remember what it was. I had a couple of Waverly gushing about Nicole. I talked about that, didn't I? No, I didn't talk about Waverly gushing about Nicole. I skimmed over that when we were talking about... See, I found another greenhouse note. My bad. You'd think after 30 some odd episodes I would have learned how to organize my notes by now. Turns out that I have not. I really love Waverly gushing about Nicole, but it was also one of those moments that kind of make you sad because she's brave and loyal and, really great at, being good. That's and she likes me when I'm none of those things. And it was kind of one of those where yes, gush, but also please think better of yourself too.
Yeah.
I kind of maybe get she was possibly looking for one of those she likes me even on my bad days and stuff like that. Might have been kind of where that was supposed to go, but it definitely did not go there. So it's Waverly. And one more little thing that I forgot to mention. God, I gotta do better.
Also, there was totally something wrapped up in that angel statue. We didn't talk about that.
I forgot to put that in my notes.
That's really all we can say about it if we're not doing a spoiler thing. So Doc got up off the ground and the angel statue was broken and there was something all wrapped up, all snug as a bug in the angel statue. That's all we know.
Wow, I forgot to put that in my notes.
I literally wrote it in my notes like that.
I mean, and it's pretty bad when you spend 4 hours writing a very lengthy podcast or very lengthy episode recap in order to create your podcast notes and then forget to put in details like that.
That was literally the last note I added, because I was like, oh, this is probably important. I should talk about that.
But literally, 6,000 words. That is how long this recap was. 6,000 words. And I forgot to mention it when I went back to... I just skimmed right over it. I'm doing really well today, guys. Yeah, so sword. That might come up, maybe. And it was totally a sword because you can see the handle. So, just throwing it out there. Also, one more little moment. I really love Wynonna pushing Waverly's head back into the box. Like, pushing just her head back down into the box after she pops up. And I think that was everything I really need to, like, mention, with the exception of Wynonna and Nicole working to get Waverly out. Totally gave me Buffy Season 7 feels, with Buffy having Xander take Dawn away. And then having it just not work out. So,
yeah.
Had to mention that because, once again, gotta get the Buffy references in.
We do.
Yeah, but I think that was everything, like, pretty important I had to mention, and I know you have a whole lot of tarot to talk about.
I do. I actually have a little astrology before I get into tarot, because I'm kind of, like, kicking myself for not, like, having mentioned this sooner, but we all know that Waverly is a Virgo with hair for days, right? And in astrology, Virgo is an earth sign, like sometimes shown as a woman, like carrying a sheaf of wisdom, representing the harvesting of wheat at the time of year, Virgo, which is like late summer. But the symbol of the maiden is based on Astrea in Greek mythology. She was the last mortal to abandon Earth at the end of the Silver Age when the gods fled to Olympus. Hence the sign's association with the Earth. There are Greek and Roman myths around Virgo. They relate to the constellation Demeter, mother of Persephone. And Virgo appears, there's a lot about Virgo, but like Virgo appears in many myths, and it's got, several origin stories, if you will.
Yeah.
She's connected to the Indian goddess Kenya and to the Virgin Mary. So, I mean, all that being said, like the key traits of Virgo being analytical, intelligent, reserved, critical, helpful, conscientious, and all Virgo's ties to earth, to harvest, gardens, like stuff like that. It really hit me this season that like nothing about Waverly's sun sign seems unintentional to me. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah, that is. I mean, I guess it kind of comes back to don't mention something like that if it's not going to like mean something at some point later on. So
I agree.
So, I mean, then again, it was a very Waverly line in the first season. So
here for days.
Yeah.
So funny.
Yep. But I now that you mention it, I am kind of surprised with all of the tarot and stuff like that and talk we've been having that astrology hasn't come up yet. So
yeah, and it was actually watching the finale that I thought about it, because we find out Nicole's sign in the finale, which I will talk about in our next episode. But that like I found that out, and I was like, oh my god, they go together so well, and then I actually started thinking about Waverly, and I was like, how have I not brought up like Virgo being an earth sign and all of this, like how have I not talked at all about Virgo like that? So I'm sorry to any Virgos who are listening.
I'm sure they would forgive you, probably.
Yeah, it's probably just my mom.
Guess we'll find out.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Laura's mom.
Hi, Mom. Okay, so are you ready for some tarot? Because I have some tarot for you.
I have
ready. So much. I've got like half a deck here.
I am ready to sit back and listen to you talk tarot.
Oh my god. Okay. All right, you guys. So Kate Tarot at the Gardner house, right? She seems to be pulling cards that will either predict possibly her own chances of survival, the outcome of this fight, or Doc, because she says she needs to find John Henry. She's worried about him. She wants to save him. So Doc might also be a possibility in this.
Yeah.
And with each card she pulls and she flips, she says dead, right? She pulls all of her cards in upright positions, which is nice. That's pretty convenient, like for us at least. And so she pulls all of these cards in the upright position. The Five of Swords is I think it's like the first card that she pulls, which means conflict, tension, loss, defeat, win at all costs, or betrayal. So the Five of Swords sees you engaging in conflict or finding yourself disagreeing with others, leading to tension and hostility. Despite thinking you have won, you may still end up the loser because you have hurt or annoyed others and have subsequently isolated yourself. You try to pick up the pieces and act as if conflict is now in the past, but others have lost faith in you and don't want to be around you. That's kind of a best case scenario for this card. It can represent aggressive conquest and ambition, but in the negative sense because the cost is so great. Next up, she pulls the Five of Wands upright. This card signifies disagreement, competition, strife, tension, and conflict. Now is also a good time to mention that in tarot, the fives typically represent conflict and change.
Good to know.
Anyway, this card indicates that you are in the midst of conflict, tension, competition, and it is impacting your ability to move forward with your goals. So you're kind of obstructed, right? And rather than being able to work together with others, you're coming up against it and you're constantly being challenged on your point of view. The trouble is that everyone is trying to express their point of view and opinions, but no one is listening, so there's little progress. There's only conflict, and there is little or no value in the discussions that are occurring. The typical visual on this card, which the Marielle Tarot deck is, highly specialized. The images are completely unique to that tarot deck. But in most decks, you'll see like five people sort of clambering on top of each other. And the Five Wands as like things that they're reaching for, and they're reaching over each other and stuff like that. We don't see the third card in that spread, but Kate says dead, so I'm assuming it wasn't great.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah. But she starts over, she tries again. And the second pull, we see the Three of Swords, which upright means painful separation, sorrow, heartbreak, grief, and rejection. However, the Three of Swords is often serves as a warning sign to show when one or more of these things are possible. And by preparing for this difficult event, it's thought that the emotional blow can be minimized or prevented entirely. Next, we have the Tower, which we have already discussed at length. So, brief recap, this card is almost all bad. And it means massive change, upheaval, destruction, and chaos. If you guys remember, the Tower was in Wynonna and Bulshar's pulls. And the last card was the last card of the second pull was the Death card. And the Death card upright means endings, change, transformation, and transition. The Death card is pretty misunderstood, and it's kind of unjustly maligned in tarot. It typically represents change and endings, but also new beginnings. It's sort of an everything dies, right?
Yeah.
And all things are reborn type deal.
Okay.
Kate's last pull gives us the Nine of Swords and another dead. This card symbolizes depression, nightmares, intense anxiety, and despair. The troubles alluded to in the Nine of Swords are primarily of a psychological nature and do not necessarily indicate suffering in your external reality. The second card and the last dead that she says is the Four of Swords upright, which means contemplation, recuperation, passivity, relaxation, and rest. I think this card should have been flipped if it were to be taken negatively. Reversed, it means restlessness, burnt out, lack of progress. But anyway, the last card pulled is the Star, which means hope, faith, purpose, renewal, and spirituality. As the Star follows the Tower in tarot, it comes as a welcome reprieve after a period of destruction and turmoil. You've endured many challenges and stripped yourself bare of any limiting beliefs that have previously held you back. You are becoming aware of your core essence, or who you really are, beneath all the layers. That being said, it's difficult not to associate this card with Julian, as he has just, in the scene preceding, become aware of himself. He's shown his wings to Waverly, right, his true self, and then we flip to this card, and then Kate starts talking about hope. So that was probably Julian.
Mm-hmm.
And just a reminder, you guys, Biddy Tarot is my favorite site, and an excellent resource for tarot beginners. If you like Kate's deck, you can buy it on Amazon. That is, again, the Mary L. Tarot deck. Also, there was a really cool reading of the cards that Kate originally pulled for Waverly when we got our Angel card, our Temperance card, that was done by Carissa, or at CRISSK80 on Twitter, which I will be discussing in our Season 3 wrap-up.
Alrighty. Thank you very much.
As I pass out.
Yes, a lot of swords she pulled.
Yeah, the swords, They're not always bad.
Yeah. But, yeah, it was just a lot of swords. But thank you for doing all of that research. And,
yeah, you are welcome.
Before we go into quotes, do you have anything else you need to add?
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
I can help you until you know, because I'm looking.
I don't think I do, yeah. Thank you. No!
I have to pull up your spreadsheet when you're doing your tarot so I can follow along, because it's a lot.
Don't tell people about my spreadsheet.
I'm sorry. The thing that you use to make notes that you have shared with me, that is definitely not a spreadsheet.
I really like spreadsheets.
Look, it's a good spreadsheet.
Thank you.
If this is how I worked, I would use a spreadsheet. Obviously, I don't organize my notes that well. Quotes.
Quotes.
I really liked Nedley. Things are going to HE triple hockey sticks out here.
I thought that was good.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked Wynonna's stupid prophetic moon. Simmer down. It's 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah, and then to the horse. Don't stop now. Keep going. Run for your life. This is your chance.
Also cool if it's meant to signify her and not just the 4 horsemen, right? And she's like telling herself to get out. Anyway.
Yeah. And then, I brought up, we talked about that quote with Nicole and Robin about people leaving town, but, like wildlife, which, by the way, are also fleeing the triangle, helped the panicked pack of hedgehogs across the river. So, I just like that.
I had that one, too. I haven't seen Purgatory this empty since Pussy Willow's had a charity car wash and a shorts shortage.
Do hedgehogs get mad when you impose on a family meeting?
I like that. You can't just leave me with half a story. We've got to talk about Kevin. Yeah. Also funny because we need to talk about Kevin is a book that was later adapted into a movie starring Ezra Miller and Tilda Swinton.
Thank you. Oh, that's like 2 times in a couple of episodes you've mentioned. Twice in a couple of episodes that you've mentioned Tilda Swinton.
Oh, I'm preparing for my next D&D character. I've got her on my mind.
I know, you totally do. Yeah, you told me about that.
Yep, that's got to be what it is.
Yeah,
I didn't even realize I was doing it. I'm like, this is D&D.
Yeah, you mentioned it a couple episodes ago, like some random vampire film or something, maybe? Was that it?
Oh, no, but for real, you got to watch that, yeah.
That was...
Only Lovers Left Alive,
okay.
Tilda Swinton.
I'll try to remember that.
Yeah.
Once again.
So fun.
I'm going to tell you this and then forget to write it down.
That's okay.
Wynonna yelling, run for your lives, Killer Moon, tends to fill their dipes when she's talking, when Nicole tells her that they told people it was a forest fire.
You already kind of touched on this moment earlier. Besides, I would be terrible at keeping Waverly anywhere. She could convince me to do anything. get a blazing phoenix tattoo all up your butt? Yeah, if that's what she really wanted in her beautiful heart.
And then Wynona's next line, one way or another, I have to take on Balshar here. I can't just zip off with waves on the back of my murder cycle. Yeah.
I did like Charlie's, hey, come on, Wynonna, you already dumped me after I got all that gunk out of your lawnmower. Not a euphemism. You sure? Yeah, it's not.
You are going through my list, like, pretty fiercely. It's actually good, because that means I have less to say. I like when Wynonna and takes Charlie to the truck. And listen, I know you're not doing this for me, but could you maybe apologize when she comes to? Yeah, for what? What the fuck, Wynonna? Because even though she is gagged, that is definitely what she says, and you can make it out on the second rewatch with subtitles. Or on a rewatch with subtitles.
That's what she said.
Yeah, it's so great. I love it.
What makes you think I was a Boy Scout? Your face. The whole thing, really.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, look, it's the world's worst Sons of Anarchy cosplayers. Sorry, fellas, don't have time to fix your mopeds. Balshar's gonna enslave the world and murderize us all.
I haven't done a lady's hair since my sister's wedding in 1879. She was marrying the man I loved. Can we dump our emotional purses out later, Jarvis? I have actual shit to do.
Yep. And when Rolf, that ain't your magic gun, princess. No, but it can still powwow your nads off. Or it would if it came loaded when you stole it. And I mentioned this, but Waverly fawning over Nicole. Well, where to start? Oh, well, she's brave and loyal and really great at being good.
I also liked when Rolf holds the dress up during the makeover,
Yes!
And Jarvis is like, "It's creepy how you keep trying to get ladies into your dead wife's dress."
Yeah, that
one
one
was
was
whole
good.
thing was creepy. It didn't need to be that creepy. I loved it.
Yeah. And I'm sure this is the next on my list, so I'm sure is the smile bitch line up next for you.
Oh, I didn't write that down.
You didn't write it
Take
down?
it away. No,
Dude,
I didn't.
The Rev telling Wynonna, smile bitch, so you can see the teeth that are going to bite your dick off.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
As you mentioned, proper response to being told to smile.
I think so. I do have Mercedes. Okay, it's the Titanic. You're floating on a door in the middle of the ocean. You just have to hold Leonardo DiCaprio's head underwater just long enough to ride it out.
I have so many Mercedes lines in a row here. I think, everything she says. Because you missed also, what she says before that. What you're missing is that this whole thing is apocalyptunity. Which, props to Danny Kind for getting that out. Because that had to have taken a taker. And pretty much anything Mercedes said, welcome to Purgatory Yacht Club, bitch.
Mm-hmm.
If being a coward is what it takes to get through the end of the world, then chicken shit me up. But yeah, that Titanic line was really fabulous.
Yeah. I also liked her, yeah, we know that, sweetie. Your eye bags have fighter written all over them.
Yeah. Does anyone have a phone? We should Periscope this.
That was my last one, yep.
Was it the last one?
For me, yeah.
Yeah. This is the most thrilling rose ceremony ever. Doc talking about Charlie's truck. Well, his truck is still here. Waverly. I stole it. Yeah, who doesn't want to drive a fire truck? Next time I'll grab a Dalmatian, too. Wynonna asking, what just happened? You ruined dessert. Oh, and Mercedes saying to Wynonna, you happened. You always happen. Seriously, every Mercedes line. Everyone. Yeah. I wrote down every single one, I think. And, we didn't talk about this either because, like I said, I had a blanket, just everything, because if I had written down every single one of Mercedes', moments that were my favorite moments, it would have been, twice as long. But, her saying that she's gonna make sure Balshar is distracted and then, adjusting her cleavage. And then telling Wynonna the girls want to watch it go down, too. She also had that Chanel line, but I can't find it anymore. I don't think I wrote it down. No, I did write it down. I just don't know where it went. Anyway, and the last thing on my list I have is just her thing to the Revenants. I've always been a little slow on the uptake, but I finally get it. I get it. Balshar wants us to keep us hating each other. That way we can't come together and take out our real enemy, him. And then when Jarvis asks, do you think you can really do it? Or you really think you can do it? She tells him, not by myself. I was never going to be able to do it by myself. Meanwhile, we're stuck in a meat factory and we're running out of wine. So what do you say? Anybody want to go break a goddamn curse? And I just thought that was really great.
Yeah, that is great.
So, yeah, now I'm done. See, I had a bunch of extra ones because, you know, I cut my list short last episode because you hit me in the feels, so.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I did.
You don't look that sorry about it. She's not sorry at all, you guys. No, it's fine. That's how you have to rein me in, end with a punch in the heart so that I stop. So that all I want to do is just like curl up and do a little ball. Well, alrighty. That does it for me for this episode.
Yep, me too.
Alright, so thank you everybody for listening. If you haven't read my recap, I did retweet it already. So yeah, if you haven't read my recap yet and are interested, I retweeted it from the Make Your Peace Twitter, which is at 4YE_MYP podcast. You can follow 4YE directly at 4_Y_E to see when it goes up every week. And then you can also go directly to the site at 4ye.co.uk to check out everything all at once, and also check out anything else that Lara and I have written. We have some good pieces on there, if I do say so myself. You can find me on Twitter at cmeushaw, that's at CMEUSHAW, and please excuse the variety of photo changes and stuff as it is October and I am participating in Twitter Halloween, aka I will be changing my thing every day, so sorry. Lara, where can I find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at RSMayfair.
Alrighty. And as we mentioned, we're going to be doubling up on the podcasts this week, so you'll be seeing our finale podcast soon. We're recording it in a day or so from when this posts. But yeah, it will be up by the end of the week, in theory. Probably be on YouTube, if anything else. So, with that, we will, I guess, see you guys in a few days. So, thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.